Hi, I'm James Dunn. Welcome to the Inside Network. Welcome to INDepth, and joining us today to discuss the year that's been in cryptocurrency and how the asset class is moving into the more traditional and serious investment sector of self-managed super funds is Cointree's Chief Operating Officer, Jess Renden. Welcome, Jess.
Thanks, James, for having me. I'm looking forward to today.
It's a pleasure to have you. Before we jump in, let's spend some time learning a little bit about who and what Cointree is and what's been happening in the crypto space this year, because I think between El Salvador, Dogecoin and a rocketing price for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's a lot happening.
It has certainly been a really exciting year. Even just this week, Bitcoin hit its next all-time high of 92,000 AUD, which has been so exciting for the space as a whole. As Cointree, we are a digital currency exchange. We've been established since 2013. And what a digital currency exchange is we provide a platform for our members to buy, sell and trade all different cryptocurrency assets. We list over 170 different assets that are available, and we transact in Australian dollars. So anyone who is an Australian resident is able to sign up and utilise the platform at their leisure, and you can invest as low as $20 worth to be able to, I guess, buy whatever asset you like.
Now, Cointree was one of the first crypto platforms established in this country following the launch. It was in 2013, as you say, following the launch of Bitcoin, which was only 2009. So how has the company, in its view, how would you describe the very fast rise of the asset class since then?
Yes, it's certainly been a journey, but a very exciting one nonetheless. Cryptocurrency, I joined Cointree back in 2017, and cryptocurrency was surrounded by a little bit of negative press at that time. And over the last 4 years, it's been a really interesting journey to see the cryptocurrency industry mature, gain gradually a little more regulation, and we can see regulation progressing a lot in the sector at the moment as well, to now be utilised by really big companies and backed by the likes of PayPal, JP Morgan, MasterCard, and there are only just some names to start to see that. And even just recently with CommBank as well, saying that they're going to be working to support digital currency transactions as well. That's enormous for the sector, and a really big achievement for 2021.
While your audience ranges from individual investors to financial advisors and institutional investors, lately you're focusing more on self-managed super funds. Why is that?
Well, self-managed super funds, I guess, as a lot of us know, they have the flexibility to be able to invest in cryptocurrency. Of course, obviously, ensuring that their trust deed and investment strategy is up to date to obviously have that listed on there. But we've found in the last 18 months that our self-managed super fund customers have doubled. It's gone up by 100%, and that was only in the first 6 months of this year in comparison to 2020. So we've really seen the desire to diversify assets. It's really become apparent, and we just want to further support that, but also educate the space as well, because having a self-managed super fund can maybe be a little confusing to some people as they're starting out, and so part of our purpose is to help facilitate that on our platform.
As you mentioned, Jess, they've got quite onerous requirements under superannuation law to formulate an investment strategy and describe the assets in which they're going to invest, and they're required to be diversified, etc. So how do you see crypto within all that and the obvious desire on the part of SMSF trustees to get into it? How do you see crypto fitting into the accumulation phase of SMSF investors and then the retirement phase? How do they differ, if at all? Yeah,
it's been really interesting because, as I touched on with the self-managed super side, even if you're in accumulation or pension phase, there's certainly benefits to being able to invest in cryptocurrency. When we look at accumulation, obviously that's for those that are still working and they haven't reached that pension retirement age. And the interesting part is that CGT is taxed at that 15%. But if you actually hold an asset for over 12 months, you can then receive further tax reductions, which is certainly a benefit in itself. When you look look at the pension phase, when you're in pension, you obviously have the tax-free threshold for your investments. So we have a balance of customers that we could obviously just assume fit into those different groups as well. And it's been very, very popular for those that are in the pension phase to be investing because they get that tax-free component. Yeah.
While we've clearly seen an interest in the digital asset class from self-managed super funds and personal investors, there's still some advisors who are reluctant to recommend it. So what is Cointree's response to that kind of reluctance, and what's your strategy to get that component of advisors over the line?
Fantastic. Yeah, we've noticed over the last 12 months particularly, a lot of advisors have started to reach out and show interest to learn more about cryptocurrency. And we really believe that growing and educating everyone in the sector, not just advisors, but customers and advisors, clients as well, so that they fully understand how cryptocurrency works, so they can obviously invest with more knowledge behind them. When it comes to advisors, we've seen that apprehension over our time, and we've started to build quite a large education portal for all types of advisors, accountants, financial planners, to start to understand more. But we've also supported them with tools within our platform. So tax time, CGT, all different types of reporting can be really complicated for clients as well. And so we've also integrated with other services to be able to provide better tax time reporting, particularly for self-managed super funds as well, to really start to ease people into being able to make that investment. To try and promote and maybe advocate for the space as well. It's sort of not about forcing those advisors into making that decision. I think cryptocurrency is still relatively new. It's not seen as a traditional asset. We understand that apprehension. So we're here to be available to support and grow people in the space so then they can make better educated decisions.
Jess, with 6,000 or so different kinds of cryptocurrencies and digital assets now available for investment around the world, does it start like the share market has to separate itself into more reliable blue chip kind of investments, for want of a better term, and at the other extreme, highly speculative, buyer beware kinds of assets?
Yes, 100%. We've seen that as well, and that's why as a platform we support over 170 different types of cryptocurrencies. We certainly don't support all 6,000 projects, because part of that from our side is vetting what projects are stable, which ones are safe, and if we take Bitcoin and Ethereum for example, they've become the key names for cryptocurrencies, and you could refer to Bitcoin as maybe the king of crypto at the moment. With it's been proven with its technology and security, and so it's certainly adapted maybe more that blue chip position when it comes to looking at cryptocurrencies. I think as a platform and as an exchange, we always like to heed with caution, and for those who are new into the space, to really do their research, learn about how an exchange works, if it's a legitimate, if it's registered with, if it's a registered digital currency exchange with AUSTRAC. Really do your research, because it's really important, one, that you trade with the right exchange, and that you invest in assets that are supported by a reputable exchange as well. Certainly, you know, there are certainly a lot of maybe less supported projects, and you know, as an Australian business, we certainly make sure we would regulate and what we put on our platform, and we do that vetting accordingly.
There would be a lot of reasons, I imagine, why people would invest in cryptocurrencies, and primarily as an asset to rise in value. But are there some that actually hope and intend to use it as a means of payment for things? And also, is there a component that kind of thinks the traditional currencies are the systems in trouble and may one day fail, and I want to be holding something that will work in that instance?
Yes, I think the purpose around Bitcoin as well is that it often can be seen, or cryptocurrency in general can be providing maybe financial freedom as well. I think it's certainly got the merit to be that alternate that alternate digital source where you can have your wealth in something that's a digital asset besides having it in like a bank and having it much more on that traditional side. So then if there was a financial crisis or whatnot, the community believe that cryptocurrency is going to be something that will be able to help support and save us through times like that as well, with its value being completely digital, being based on the blockchain, and having, having, I guess, a completely separate type of asset compared to traditional currency. We've certainly seen over the time as well with Bitcoin, it's been used to hedge against inflation as well, and we've seen that really come to pass recently too. So when you look at it, I guess, as a whole landscape, there's a lot of promise for the industry, and it's only really just getting started as well. So Bitcoin's becoming much more of that household name. I know when I started and mentioned that I worked for a cryptocurrency exchange, it was very less known, and now when I mention that, I get the, oh, okay, great, I can trade with you, I've got an account, and so I think that's really exciting for the space as well.
It's interesting that when people look at cryptocurrency as a new kind of currency and maybe think, oh wow, there's lots of concerns there. If you look at our actual fiat currency with which we're all familiar, the Australian dollar, floated in 1983. I think it's fluctuated between 47.8 US cents and $1.12 US, and over those extremes, given a lot of problems for people and businesses exposed to transactions and the exchange rate. So it's not as if traditional currency is, even though we use it every day and function in it, but it's not as if it hasn't given and caused a lot of problems in the past.
Yes, and that's exactly it. And we often refer back to, why do we use fiat currency? Why do we have trust in this $50 note that we're holding? Because we've had that belief. We've always had that belief. We've had that solidified into us since we've all been born. So it's something that's traditional. It's something we've grown up with. So then when you look at the implementing something that's digital, and it certainly asks a lot of questions and things like that, but once we learn to understand how it works and the purpose behind it, it's actually incredible to see that the power behind something like this. And that's where we see that further fermenting itself into the digital system, the financial systems over time. And like I touched on earlier, when you get the likes of CBA coming out to say they're supporting cryptocurrency, for us, I mean, that's really enormous to see that adoption with someone who is so traditional in the way that they act. It's just a one step forward really for the industry.
Like any other asset, Jess, is there that aspect that people have got to watch in terms of liquidity? That I would imagine with Bitcoin and Ethereum, the liquidity's always there to do what you want to do. But if you offer 170 different kinds of asset, I would imagine that for some of them, liquidity's not the same as it is for Bitcoin. Yes,
very correct. So when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're highly liquid markets, and so being able to transact and being able to acquire that is really quite accessible. We provide the ability to be able to access those 170 assets, and we manage that. We manage what liquidity is available from our side as an exchange. We technically work a little bit more on a broker model, so we actually can have the technology to plug into different exchanges to be able to ascertain the best price available and things like that. We certainly have seen over the time some coins where they may be quite volatile and they may dip in the market and liquidity may be an issue, but as an Australian business, we're obviously quite equipped to be able to prepare members for something like that if it ever did change and that asset maybe wasn't available. We've got great automation and technology which helps support being able to have coins available when and where they're available to be traded.
So Jess, on your platform, very exciting, people investing in cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, but is there a bit of an aspect or a problem that always exists, a fiat currency problem of exchange rate? Are people purchasing in A dollars on your platform or purchasing in US dollar, buying US dollar assets?
Yes, okay. So at the moment our platform is only AUD, so we only accept AUD currency, so fiat on the platform. So you can go from AUD to any of the assets available, so we're not restricted by any types of trading pairs. So there isn't a conversion rate as such. The way that it works with our platform is that we have a fee per transaction, so there's a clear fee that's outlined on the trading platform for you to go from fiat to any crypto asset, and you can also trade from crypto to crypto. And that fee can depend on your trading tier. So we actually have a variant of trading tiers based on the volume that you trade. You then would be charged a lesser fee. So that's the way that it would work in respect on the fee side of things, no conversion issues as such.
So can you buy crypto on your platform using part of your crypto holdings?
Correct. So you can send Bitcoin to your Cointree wallet as such, and then you can transact that Bitcoin. You can either sell it back into AUD or you can purchase another asset type. It just depends on your preference, and we have that flexibility available for customers to make those choices.
Jess Renden, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks for having me, James.